Welcome to the Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Keren Eldad. Settle in. We're about to make you feel really good. What happens when a high-performing architect, starchitect, stops performing from pressure and starts performing from her creative genius? That's exactly what we're about to find out. Welcome back to the Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Keren Eldad, and we are still here in the Coaching Masters series, where we talk about all things coaching mastery, the discipline of coaching, which we cannot do without speaking also about the journey of the client in coaching. Today's guest is the very amazing architect, Allison Bryan. Architects, in case you didn't know, are executives who often carry the weight of entire teams, of entire visions, of futures, and also of their disciplinary perfectionism. Behind this polished exteriors, many times, like in many industries, something heavier might be lurking, like exhaustion, like overwhelm, like the quiet feeling that they have outgrown the way that they have been leading. My guest today, Allison Bryan, knows that world intimately and hopefully will talk to you about how she has learned to live differently. Allison, welcome so much to the show.
It's great to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here.
I love Austin.
I know, you should move here.
I should. It's nice and warm. It's not Montana.
That's right. But you know, now that you're a global resident, does it even matter where you live anymore?
It's quite interesting. We have projects in 6 different states right now. I came straight from New York. So I'm just like living the dream.
Exactly. And it's only the beginning.
Yeah.
Your business is blown up, but in such a good way. And through coaching and the inner work, I've seen you make a tremendous transition. It's going to be a real privilege to talk to you about what's gone down and what's lying ahead.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Let's start with the before picture. Hard to believe that there was an Allison before this journey. Hard to believe it's only been a year, frankly.
Keren.
What did leadership in life feel like, BK?
I think that I didn't think my dreams could become a reality. I think that I remember the first time we met on our consults, and just I was in a good place. I was at a poolside in Portugal, but I remember you just telling me what you saw that I could be, and it was hard for me to understand and believe it, but just in the year and a half, we basically hit all of those marks. Yeah. So I think before that time, I was just running in a very limited like scope of what I thought I could be.
I had a tremendous advantage when I met you because I've been an architecture and design junkie my entire life. I was, for a short time, the publisher of a magazine called Surface, which is an architecture and design major magazine. Our first ever issue featured Zaha Hadid on the cover. I've met Bjarke Engels and Annabelle Seldorf and other huge architects. So I remember that the word that was coming to my mind when I met you was starchitect. But the only thing that really was the distance between you then and where you wanted to go was just accepting the size of the dream. And this is something so hard for overachievers to hear, I think, because most of them are like, I'm already optimizing my capacity for everything I want.
Yeah.
But the truth is you're actually not. You're so afraid of the size of your dream that you think that where you're aiming is the apotheosis of what you can have. Mm-hmm. One of the best things about just getting to meet each other is for me to say, are you sure you're thinking that big? So what happened? What brought you to that point, actually, where you thought, well, maybe I need a little bit of help here and maybe my life could be a little bit different?
Well, I mean, we started the one-on-one coaching, and which I loved because I'm a forever student. I love doing the homework, love meeting with you. And I think just kind of starting to break down the patterns that I had established in myself in 40 plus years. Just seeing that with you and seeing how those things were preventing my dreams from happening or taking it as far as I wanted to go. I think also just goal setting with you in terms of revenue. Architects are historically horrible business people. So,
all creatives are.
Yes.
It's a stereotype, but it is true.
Yeah. And I have that side of my brain. I love the business.
Yeah.
But like architects basically work in a way where we feel so lucky to even get a job, where actually we're so lucky for the clients to be able to work with us because
That's right.
We're very skilled, and physical space is everything. It's how we thrive in life. So I think just flipping the script and looking at the revenue and having that be a driver. I had never done that before. It was always like, when's the next job going to come in the door? And when am I going to be lucky to get the next job? And instead of, we set a goal, it was double the revenue of the previous year. And I was like, you're no way, Keren, there's no way we're going to get this. And we got it. And it was just like, I just kept looking back.
And now that you're looking at this year, it was almost a simplistic goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, we hit it, but yeah. And now I'm wondering what next year is.
Well, yeah, but that's okay. That's because patterns die hard. And that's actually where I want to ask you, if you're willing to share, what were some of the patterns that came up that you finally sort of realized had been driving you and had to go?
Yeah. And I would say, to be honest, I've unraveled a lot in the last year and a half, but I think it's a forever journey, you know? I grew up in a way where my sister and I raised ourselves, and we had a severely alcoholic mother, you know, and I think that I just kind of grew up in a longing way. Like I always longed for like love, or longed for my dreams, or longed to get out of the house, or longed to be safe. And I think that that's something that I was just really comfortable in, that longing state, which I guess is scarcity as well. And
that's right.
And I think that it just became a normal state for me, and I wasn't able to just accept present happiness.
Yeah.
So
the state that you're describing is so important because it's a kink for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. We all can find our way to scarcity, even from places that look whole. And what we become very comfortable with isn't so much the longing or the state of yearning, which is a very uncomfortable state, but it's actually just with the feeling of not being safe. Mm-hmm. We sort of behaviorally start to solve that by making safety happen for ourselves, by becoming over-controlling and over-perfectionist and over-functioning, essentially, in lots of departments. And that's our way of finding a way to live with the unsafeness of the world. This is incorrect English, but people will understand it viscerally.
Yeah.
When we understand that pattern, we can start to see what happens in personal relationships, parenting, and leadership, because that bleeds into everything that you do. Mm-hmm. If you're always freaking out about the next paycheck, or where the next client's going to come from, or this employee or that employee, or a situation at work, and you over-function as a result of that, you try to control things, you over-regulate the factors of your life, what's happening is it's just a default of old patterning.
Yeah.
And that's why the work does take time. Now, it is forever because it's pleasurable, but that doesn't mean that you don't learn how to play the game. Mm-hmm. And I think you've learned how to play the game, which is amazing.
Yeah. I will say hypervigilance.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call it, overfunctioning. Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Totally.
Same thing. Was there a moment or a season in which you started to realize in your leadership specifically that it's time to get help?
Yes. I don't know if it was one moment, but there was many years of just feeling complete overwhelm. And I actually was asking my associate principal this today, because we worked together for 10 years. And I said, can you see a difference in me since I've started getting coached with Keren? And she said, oh my gosh, totally. She's like, you're less reactive. I used to be so reactive to any client email or anything that would kind of rock the boat. She said, I was less reactive. I'm willing to take more risks and not stress about them. Share more things about what I'm doing to promote the business with my team, which I didn't realize I wasn't doing before, but I'm like educating them. Like we have our power hours now, as you recommended.
Love it.
So that was really good for me to hear that from her. I don't think there was any particular moment that I realized I needed to shift something, but I know I'm a lot more reactive in every single relationship in my life right now than I was.
A lot less reactive. I agree. There are two things that I really noticed in you. And the first is, you're right. Your boundaries are much, much clearer for you. And so you are not willing to just take things at face value, like the criticism of me will now move me into a tailspin. It's literally, well, these terms actually don't work for me, and now I'm going to operate accordingly. And those boundaries have also spilled over into lots of just you saying no to something that's not right for you.
Yeah.
You know that my definition of success is no longer how much money can we make, how quickly, which is, I think that if anybody was really honest with themselves, is the prevailing definition in society.
Totally.
To me, the definition of success is how fast can you go from reactivity to peace? If you have a really short time between reactive behavior into peace, and you can start to really be more measured in your way of being, in a way that allows you to really be mostly a compassionate human being, that's success.
Yep.
That's a successful life.
Yeah, that was another point that my colleague had told me. She said that I'm more apt to step away from jobs or clients now. I had never done that before.
Yeah. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen you ask for your worth. Mm-hmm. I've seen you elegantly say to people who are not willing to play by the standards of the firm, I completely get that you don't want to do it, but that's how we play.
Yeah.
And
it's not a fit.
Yeah, and even just I've seen you say, we're not going to go to this vacation, we're going to go to this vacation. Yeah. These are really big moments, and that's how we start to truly reclaim our own lives. That's how our lives start to feel good to us.
Yeah.
And as a result, I've seen you do some pretty enormous things this year, particularly in September. There's a brand relaunch. You have some serious national visibility now. Huge. I mean, you were in the New York Times, and a tremendous surge of opportunities. What inner shift do you think specifically, if you can define it, maybe an identity death led to this?
It's hard to say exactly, but I will say with the New York Times, it was so interesting. I literally wrote on, like in a document, I was writing down like different publications that I'd love to have our work in. And I literally wrote the New York Times at the top of the list. I'm not kidding you. The next day, they cold called.
Manifestation.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
What do you think it was that allowed for this to happen? These manifestations don't just happen, as you very well know. Mm-hmm. So what do you think it was about the process that helped you get to this enormous launch and visibility and manifestation point?
I think I believed I was worthy.
Yeah.
And
you allowed yourself to write the New York Times at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Just think for a second about, and I know this because I write publicity wish lists all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know that I put exactly what I want right on the top, because sometimes your automatic thought is, that's a long shot. I'm a nobody. They won't call. It's very hard. It's very rare. But once you truly understand your worth, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what allows all the surrender to happen. And that's actually what allows you to expand your dream into physical space.
Yes. Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that we belong up with all of the people I've been admiring all of these years. Like, I know we do.
Yeah.
I believe in our work, and I believe in who we are as a team and people. So,
was there a specific teaching or concept in coaching that has stayed with you and been transformative for you?
The pause principle has been massive. I mean, I use it multiple times a day. I use it in my relationship. I use it with my daughter. I use it at work. So that's huge. I think the introduction to Byron Katie has been massive. Doing that work, and also Martha Beck. I'm reading The Power of Kabbalah right now, and I love it very much.
Love it.
So, I mean, just working with you has introduced me to a whole library of resources that I knew about, but I hadn't taken the time to commit to. And I'm like, I just can't get enough. Like, I just want to continue.
I love it. So one of the things I love about nerds, and most of the people we work with are nerds, is I don't think that you wouldn't find the works. I just think you wouldn't find the right exact works.
Yeah.
And my job is to curate them for you, to really understand you and who you are and what you need and what will actually resonate with you. That's the pause principle. Byron Katie's The Work, Active Insight by Andrew Bernstein. They're extraordinarily similar methods. Mm-hmm. It's just a question of when are you ready to receive one versus the other, and what will it graduate into. Mm-hmm. And I'm also delighted that now you're enjoying, thanks to Madonna, not me, the great works of Kabbalah, which were that was my gateway drug into this universe. We'll link all of these resources below. We always do in our show notes, because we want to introduce you not only to magnificent practitioners, because you should know about Allison, about physical space, but also because I always want people to have a good entry point into the work, something that's really going to give them something decent. The pause principle has come up many, many times, so I'm particularly pleased that you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm telling my team to use it too.
Speaking of your team, and since your magnificent 10-year colleague has validated you, how would you say your leadership style has changed in the last year?
I would say patience. I do not micromanage. I'm a person that needs spontaneity, flexibility, and I learned that from working with you.
Yes, you're a cat.
Yes, I'm definitely a cat.
I remember one day just having an epiphany and saying, Allison, you're a cat.
Yeah, I don't like to be overscheduled.
Yeah.
But it happens, and then I have to realize I'm overscheduled and reconfigure. With my team, I would say I'm really supportive of their personal growth. Like professional. Would love for them. I encourage them to do professional development, any of their own coaching. When something goes down, you know what? It's fine. It's all going to work out. We're fine. They work so hard. They're all S's and C's.
Oh, wow. How interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, very typical of architects. So she's referring to DISC, which is a behavioral profiling system that's been around for more than 100 years. Very, very highly scientifically valid versus, say, a Myers-Briggs, which is very common, but unfortunately about as accurate as a horoscope. Yeah. DISC is the D, the I, the S, and the C. And the higher the S and C behavioral profile, the closer they are to a compliant, steady or stability-seeking behavioral style. And that's very typical for engineers and for architects. Yeah. So...
And I'm a DI.
The only thing is you're a high D, high I. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't make you a not exceptional architect and not precision-seeking in your own way. It just means that your role is much more of a leadership role than an execution role.
Yes. Yeah, and it took me a lot of thinking to see that that's okay.
That's okay.
Because being a minority in the fields, I'm often the only woman at the table.
It's true. And architecture is still a very male field.
Very. I've learned that in my recent Madam Architect interview, I talked about how it's a superpower. I really see, like, if I'm the only woman at the table, I'm like, bring it, guys. Hey, guys, what's up? Like,
I still remember when we ran for Surface a profile of the top female architects in the country, we could only find 12.
That's crazy.
And this is 10 years ago. This isn't ancient history.
So I surround myself I am surrounded by male architects. I live in Montana. There's like 80-something firms in a very small town because it's, Los Angeles.
Sure.
And I'm surrounded by these male architects that have those characteristics of S's and C's. They're very they're the ones that do the drawings. They're the ones that sit at the computer 9 to 5. That is not me. I have a huge vision.
Yeah.
And I'm on the move, and that's how I operate best. I'm great at creative direction. I'm great at delegating and encouraging the team. And I had to learn that was okay. It's okay. Like, I was told for many years it was not, and I wasn't a real architect, or I couldn't pick a lane. And now I know that that's just who I am, and it's great.
That's exactly right. And now you're demonstrating to people that the secret to scaling is through your zone of genius.
Yes.
So many people are afraid to hear this because they just want to do it the way they're being told to do it. And they always think that if I only zoom in on what I actually do naturally much better than anything else, which is what your zone of genius is, then I'll be leaving money on the table and leaving control on the table. And so basically, if Keren does the admin and the social media marketing and the everything in her business, instead of just the coaching and the writing, which is what I'm supposed to do, I would, if I were in your shoes, like anybody else, think that means that I'm going to make less money and I'm at enormous risk. And that's why people end up pigeonholing themselves and not working outside of their scope and driving themselves batty and into overwhelm and burnout. The only way to scale, ironically, is to relinquish that 80% of nonsense that you don't need to do, that you're not the best at, so that you can actually do what you're best at, which will move the needle much faster.
Yeah. And even this year, I mean, I've been learning a lot about wrong hires. Not bad hires, like not a person that's not doing the job.
No one is bad.
The wrong position. So, in architecture, and this is something that my colleague brought up earlier today, is we're historically bad business people, right? So you just want to get as many designers as you can in the room so you can crank out beautiful work and over iterate and what I have learned the hard way is that another designer doesn't make my life easier. You have to be really strategic in what that seat you're hiring is. And like, for example, we're just bringing on an ops manager instead of another designer, which do two totally different things, but it's going to be the best way for the company to function. So.
To become strategic in your hire. So now when you graduate in your mindset in coaching, we start to really talk to you about tactics and about strategy. And that's really when we start to think, is the idea just to do the next thing because that's what you're supposed to do and because what your, society is reflecting to you? Or should you actually think about who's right and what's exactly the role or the position that you need? A great analogy that comes to mind is, of course, I'm obsessed with the 1990s Chicago Bulls, thanks to the documentary The Last Dance.
And I lived in Chicago during that era.
How lucky you are. I didn't even know who Michael Jordan was during that era on account of I was more interested in Beverly Hills 90210. The thing is, in 2020, when I did discover them, I learned that Scottie Pippen was not a bad recruit. He was playing the wrong position. That was pretty much it. So they created the right position for him because that was the position that they needed. This is an exceptional analogy, and go ahead and watch that 10-hour documentary series. It's amazing. For anyone in business, I've thought about this too. Why would I have two assistants if both of them are not doing the job?
Yeah.
What if I need something that's completely different that actually makes sense for my business? And it's particularly true because there's a big difference. I work with both lifestyle businesses and operator businesses. Lifestyle businesses are solopreneur with a team of up to 12 people. You can basically work from everywhere. You still have a lot of maneuvering ground. The complexity of the business is relatively simple. I know you and I are like, what are you talking about? Super complex. It's really not. Yeah. It's not crazy. Operator businesses are over 30 people usually. It is very complex. There are a lot of processes and procedures. Mm-hmm. When those of us who are in a lifestyle business are exposed to the ideas of how to run a business from the operator end, that's when things get really wonky because they're just wrong for us.
Yeah.
But when we learn how to get in touch with our own knowing what's right for me, and we learn to have boundaries,
yes,
everything changes. So I'm glad this is spilling over into your leadership style. You've spoken a lot with me about integrating vulnerability and authenticity in your leadership. How's that going?
I think I'm very authentic.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm very open with my team, and I appreciate them very much. And I'm constantly trying to, in terms of vulnerability, like learn to connect with them more. Not necessarily personally, but just like through the work and how we can. It's just much more enjoyable if you all enjoy working together. And so trying to create that energy amongst the team.
Let's talk about that because I've seen architecture behind the scenes to be a little bit of a high pressure world with deadlines and with clients and with perfectionism running rampant. What do you think has happened in your culture to transform into a place that you all really just like to be together?
I mean, we're working on it every day. So learning new things and getting people in the right seats, which I think is the most important thing. And we've talked about, deciding to hire ops versus designer, which is going to make everything easier on everyone. And the right personality is very important. Positivity, inspiration within the team is super important. So I think I lost my train of thought.
No, but I could feel what you were saying.
Yeah.
Your authenticity and the positivity basically trickle down into the team. They learn by example.
Yeah. And so toxicity in architecture is very common.
Sure.
Toxic studio cultures. And I think it's been trying to make a shift in the last several years. But that's one of my main goals, honestly, and drivers in what I do is I want to change it.
Yeah.
I want it to be, I want it to be hybrid if we need to. Which normally, picture old school, 80 years ago, one architect looking across a huge space with a field of draftsmen, not draftswomen.
Of course.
And it's just not that anymore. Like I have very junior designers coming with big ideas to the table. I'm like, hell yeah, great, let's do it. You know, like why it doesn't always have to be my idea, and oftentimes it is not. And so my job is to really just help encourage and like get the best work out of everyone that we can. So we have design excellence.
I really love that. You've experienced enormous shifts not only in your work life, but also in your personal life.
Yes.
How have the inner shift affected the personal?
Well, I'm dating a woman, or I have a female partner, which I was previously married to a man. So I think
That's a pretty big shift.
that's a huge shift. Yes. And I think that, you know, having the courage to just really be who I am is what allowed that to happen. So that's just one major shift. I had to, you know, trip over my feet for a little bit to get there and understand.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. And
It's hard to show the world the truth of who you are when you've been showing them something else and showing yourself something else for so long.
yeah, and looking back to why I felt like I couldn't just be myself.
Yeah.
What were the things that were instituted in my life that held me back?
That's exactly right.
Because my family has been nothing but accepting and wonderful. And so it was really interesting to see in myself as why did I not feel like I could be that? So yeah, I feel free in who I am, and I'm loving who I am, which is great. And I just think the other things, you know, I brought up the pause principle, but I think when you love yourself more and the pause principle and just like things like, it's just, I feel more steady in myself so that I can show up better for other people. But
I always say how you feel is how you lead.
yeah,
If you're off, if you're lying, if you're trying to keep things together, if you're worried, you're freaked out, it doesn't matter how stoic you are. It's going to really just trickle into your work.
Mm-hmm.
So having your own back, liking who you are, accepting who you are, is kind of an enormous asset in leadership.
Yeah.
I'm really delighted. When you look back at this year, what are you most proud of?
Gosh, I was thinking on the way here, we've hit every single goal.
So far.
This year, yes, milestones, so many. I would say the rebrand.
Yeah.
We were formerly Open Studio Collective, and now we're Physical Space, and
It's been enormous, just enormous.
Yeah, it was
Huge.
years and years of wanting to do that,
Yeah.
and so we just wanted to get closer to what we're trying to achieve, and that's physical space for human connection. So we did the brand internally, which was awesome. I have an amazing brand lead, and yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it. It was a big effort, but I was living my dream while we were working on that thing.
It's
It was
huge.
great.
In the club, we celebrated enormously. We knew how big this was for you. And I still remember the party on September 19th. And I told you should wear red.
Massive.
You should throw a huge, expensive party and have a fantastic time. Because
Yeah.
to revel in your dream coming true, that's no mean feat. But I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, you ain't seen nothing yet. I know where you're going. Your job now is to just not forget where you're going.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, is you have to keep that North Star alive, no matter what Fata Morgana the universe throws at you. Some illusion that, no, it's actually not working out. That's just an illusion. You are getting what you want.
I believe that.
Yeah, I think you do. If another executive or creative leader talked to you today about burnout, about leadership woes, about scaling issues, what would you say to them?
I mean, you know, I'm not going to lie, even this year, you know, we've had moments where I've reached out to you and talked about burnout and hit a couple walls. I mean, the rebrand was a push. We have, you know, a smaller team for our boutique firm, and we have 18 active projects right now all over the country. So burnout is real, and I'm learning how to catch it sooner and what I need. And I mean, even last night, I'm in Austin, have a wonderful friend here that I was so excited to see. And I was like, I love you, but I need to go to sleep.
I'm tired.
And I never would have done that before. So I think in terms of the advice I give is, it's just like, you got to take care of yourself first and foremost. If you can't take care of yourself,
That's right.
it's not, none of it's going to work.
Many people don't enjoy my answer to how do you get out of overwhelm or burnout? And my answer is usually, well, ideally you get out ahead of it.
Yeah.
Ideally you say, no, I have to go to sleep before those nights pile up.
Yeah.
And it's almost too late because the train's going to crash.
Yeah.
But to learn to live this way is just learning another form of discipline.
It really is. And that I'm learning every day.
Yeah. Well, you've come a long way.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to see you here. Thank you so much for your honesty and for your clarity, for sharing your story on Coaching Masters, of both being in coaching, but also of transformation and what it's trickled down in your life. What's next for you, and what would you like to invite our listeners to check out?
Well, you can check out our work on our website, physicalspace.co. And we've got a ton of amazing projects in the works that are going to be built in the next 6 months. I mean, our portfolio is completely changing. So that's exciting. We're going to do some spin-off brand concepts off of the term, off of physical, which have been in the works for a very, very long time too, really focusing on health and wellness and beautiful space. So there's a lot more coming, and I'm very excited. That's
the part I'm super excited about, because I know how important wellness is to you, and I can't wait to see that next evolution. We're going to invite every single one of you to check out Allison's work and physicalspace.co just below in the show notes. And if you have any questions or inquiries, just ping us and we'll connect you. Thank you, Allison, so much. Thanks for showing us what presence looks like, and for coming to Austin.
I love it here. Thank you.
I know. Please stay.
I will.
To you, listener, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you loved today's episode, please consider subscribing, giving us a review, and just hanging out, because we have a lot more coming for you. And of course, if this episode really resonated with you and you see in this story something that should be shared with someone you love, please go ahead and share it. We thank you so much for coming and spending this time with us. We'll see you next time. Stay coached.